typical wide receivers and be weapons that could dominate week in and week out.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, B. I mean, this offense has left a lot to be desired. I think that's a function of injuries. I think it's a function of poor play. I think it's a function of the quarterback. I think there's a lot of things going on right now. Look, they were down to their third string running back, right? You're playing a right guard who, last year was a third string tackle, in Brunskill. Played a little center, played a little guard, but the reality is he's probably not really a starter at the big league level, So there's just a lot going on that offense that I think Brandon Ayuk is just a microcosm of all of the kind of the weaknesses that are going on there. I want to talk about one thing here, B. And I'm going to name 3 teams to you, 32, 31, and 30. The Jaguars, the 49ers, and the Jets. What do you think that those ranks are?
Offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go turnovers.
Or defense. It could be defense as well.
So it's turnovers. So the Jacksonville Jaguars lead the league with -8, meaning their differential on turnovers, the ones that they create and how many they give up, -8. The Niners and the Jets, -5. Second worst in the entire league.
Wow.
And Arizona is a +5. The discrepancy of giving the ball up has put this defense in bad positions, and I think it's hurt all of these offensive weapons. To me, today's game is about ball security, hanging onto the rock, trying to sustain drives. You want to run the ball to keep Kyler Murray on the sidelines. But it's the turnovers, Bonta. That is a problem for the San Francisco 49ers in 2021. When you don't generate a lot on defense and you're coughing them up on special teams and coughing them up on offense, that's a bad recipe for trying to win.
Well, you look at this Arizona defense that loves to blitz and get after the quarterback. How do the 49ers not turn the ball over today with a rookie quarterback in Trey Lance?
I know.
mean, they're 4-0. They're feeling themselves right now after smoking the L.A. Rams last weekend down in L.A. At SoFi Stadium. How do the 49ers not turn the ball over without George Kittle blocking on the edge? You have Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, 2 rookie running backs. They're going to have to stay in the backfield to pick up blitzes here. And we know running backs early on in their careers really struggle with blitz pickups. How do you help out this young man in Trey Lance and not turn the ball over as a rookie in his first NFL start against a team that is undefeated and clicking on all cylinders?
Yeah, I feel like you got to do a bunch of stuff that makes the kid feel comfortable early and often. I don't really want him throwing across the middle of the field on a day like today. Let's work things to the edges where only his guy can get it. I have a feeling that Arizona's going to try to take away the run in every facet that they can. They're going to try to hit this kid. I think you got to get him out on the move, out on the edges, and allow his athleticism to take over. All I need to see today, B, I don't need a perfect game from the kid. Just show me flashes. That's where I'm at right now. I know everybody wants to win, and this is a crucial game for the 49ers. It's as big for the Niners as it is for Arizona in keeping pace in the NFC West. They are trying to extend their lead. They're looking at themselves saying, hey, if we can keep this thing humming, we could be the team that gets the bye out of the NFC. We could be the team that says, hey, everything comes through Glendale. So, huge game for the 49ers. But for Arizona, I feel it's just as big considering all of the ramifications in the standings so early in the season.
Well, one thing that has happened in the NFC West so far is the NFC West opponents. Whenever you get these NFC West games, Seattle at L.A., guess what happened? The road team won. Last week, Seattle here at Levi Stadium, what happened? Seattle won. Arizona goes to L.A., what happens? Arizona wins. So the road teams have won all 3 games so far in the NFC West. Road teams are not afraid of going on the road within this division. And last year, the 49ers, while Arizona was going for a playoff berth and they were in the midst of collapsing late in the season, the 49ers went down to Glendale with C.J. Beathard and won a freaking football game. They won a game down in Glendale. Who knew? So they can do it, but when you talk about this offense and Kyler Murray, you talk about A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has been quiet basically the last couple of weeks here. They've got weapons all across the field. They even have a tight end, Shasky. They have a tight end here in Max Williams, who's now making plays down the seam. So, a rookie quarterback's best friend, 1, a running game, but 2, a defense. How does this defense slow down Arizona, in which I thought the defense played pretty well last week, but this week they're going to have to turn it up a notch because that's a flawed Seattle team. Arizona's on a different level right now playing offensive football.
Well, you referenced the run game. I think the 49ers this year are 21st or so in stuff in the run, which isn't good by their behalf. And that's kind of really killed them on third down. So instead of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, it's 3rd and 4. And they're not allowed to sack and really pin their ears back and go after a quarterback. So I'm looking at it today and I'm saying there's a combination of things. Obviously, stuffing the run is paramount, but getting incompletions so you can have substitutions, because we know Arizona's going to run that no huddle. Go back to the first week last year when Arizona got to sustain drives. These defensive linemen were hands on hips and they were running up tempo plays. They hurry you up to the line. They might take 35 seconds to snap the ball, but they're not going to allow you to substitute. So incomplete passes and stuffing them on 1st and 2nd down, it's a tall task. Edmonds did not play much in practice this week. I believe he didn't practice at all. So I'm assuming we're going to get a heavy dose of James Conner in this game. But right. Bonta, you got to stop these wide receivers as well. AJ Green, fountain of youth, and DeAndre's all world. So he's probably looking at this secondary for the 49ers and he's going, barbecue chicken alert.
Yeah, he's going stats game. This is where I pad the stats to become a Pro Bowler right here, week number 5 against the 49ers. I mean, this guy is one of the best wide receivers in all of football. And now you get A.J. Green on the other side, which takes some of the pressure off of DeAndre Hopkins. And now you have to deal with Rondale Moore, young wide receiver out of Purdue. He's going up to see him. And then don't forget about Christian Kirk. Quietly, Christian Kirk has been a 49ers killer. This guy can do a little bit of everything. The young man out of Texas A&M who's made plays. Hell, we saw a few years ago in the Josh Rosen game where Christian Kirk got a first offensive snap for Arizona, goes 75 yards. So Arizona has 4 wide receivers with over 200 yards receiving. They have the tight end Max Williams, who has another $179. And look at the averages per catches. All right, AJ Green, 16.5 yards per catch. Christian Kirk, 15.3 yards per catch. You got DeAndre Hopkins and Moore at 13.2 a clip. And then you get the tight end at 12 yards per catch. So not only do they get catches, they get chunk catches. And they get chunk yards. And, oh, by the way, you need a quarterback spy on Kyler Murray. This is where Fred Warner Jr. gets paid the big bucks. Fred Warner Jr. has the toughest job on the football field for the 49ers. His pass rush will be tired in terms of D Ford and Nick Bosa, and we know the 49ers aren't going to exhaust these guys all day long because, look, you're going to be chasing around Kyler. You need a blow, and this is where the depth of the defensive line has to really step up. They got to really step up and help out Nick Bosa and D Ford when they come off the football field. But Fred Warner Jr. is going to have to go sideline to sideline. He's going to have to take away all the crossing routes that Arizona loves to run. Oh, and by the way, chase around Kyler Murray and make sure he doesn't beat you with his legs. Fred Warner Jr. is the man on the clock, but this is why you pay him the big bucks.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of great points there, B. I just feel from the eyeballs, the defense is better than what the numbers are telling me. I do think stuffing the run is a problem for this 49er defense, but they're a better team than what the raw data suggests. They've been on the field a lot. They've been in short yardage situations or short field situations a lot this year. I referenced all of the turnovers. Like, just go back and watch every one of the games, and the defense played well enough to win in just about every one of them. Now, we could point out singular drives and plays and things like that, but look, defense is hard in the NFL, and it's really hard against this explosive offense. This offense reminds me of a gun-and-run Mike D'Antoni basketball offense. They are going to try to get points up. This is the number 1 scoring offense, most passing yards in the league, yards per game, most yards per game in the league right now. I mean, B, this is a monumental task, and all I keep thinking about is a young Colin Kaepernick going into Arizona and throwing 3 interceptions early in that game to Honey Badger, and you're going, that game felt over before it even started. This is a house of horrors for the San Francisco 49ers. I know they played there last year to end the year, but B, I have no good feelings whenever the Niners go to Arizona.
Well, they're always dogfights. But I think of 2019 when Jimmy Garoppolo and company played in Arizona Halloween, and it went life and death. Remember, they needed a touchdown on the last play of the first half where Shanahan said, "You know what, we're going for it," and they score a touchdown. And Jimmy Garoppolo throws for over 400 yards. That seemed like it was so long ago. But look, division games are different. Division games are different. In Arizona, they have injuries on their own. When you look at their cornerback situation, 2 of their top 3 corners, Marco Wilson and Byron Murphy, who's a a really good corner. He's out today.
I like him.
They're out today. So you look at their run D, 5 yards per carry they give up, 5.5 yards per carry. And you know Shanahan's going to want that read option, that zone read, really clicking with Trey Lance and getting that running game going. The offense will have opportunity. That's why in order to help out Trey Lance in his first ever start, which I'm so excited about. I'm excited to see Trey Lance finally with the full playbook, a full week of reps with the number ones. This feels like the changing of the guard for the 49ers. Whether or not they win or lose, this feels like the next era of 49ers football with Trey Lance. This is his team. This is his job to lose. I was looking at Oklahoma yesterday, right? And everybody hypes up Spencer Rattler to be this top 5 pick. I've never seen it with Spencer Rattler. I've never been impressed with Spencer Rattler. And they have this young man come off the bench, Caleb Williams. And I just looked at his sideline demeanor. He's hyping up the offense on the sideline, even when he's not in the game. Next thing you know, he gets the job and he leads Texas back to victory, right? Oklahoma all the way back from a 28-7 deficit and wins the football game. But I'm looking at the sideline demeanor, how you talk to your wide receivers, how you talk to your offensive linemen, who's the leader of that offense. I need the quarterback to be the leader of the offense. And for some reason, over the last year and a half, I haven't felt that from Jimmy Garoppolo. When Trey Lance gets into the huddle, when he talks to his teammates, you see leadership. You see a guy who wants to command the huddle, who wants to command the offense, who wants the ball in his hand. So whether or not the 49ers win or lose, however interceptions he throws today, or he may not throw interceptions. Who the hell knows how this game is going to play? I'm looking for this guy to take command of the huddle and take command of the offense to say, this is my team, this is my offense. I'm going to make plays, and I'm going to breathe confidence into others. I'm going to elevate others on this offense here. That's what I'm really looking for Trey, looking from Trey today, Shasky.
So, when you see him last week and he gets thrown in there was clearly something going on with the headsets and the communication from sideline to quarterback. But he only took one timeout for a delay of game penalty for the entire second half. Those are the things to me that a young quarterback, like you're talking about the turnovers and post play, and you're also talking about sideline demeanor, and I agree with you. Pre-snap infractions. Can we get everyone lined up, and can we get these plays rocking and rolling? Check. Are you making the right reads out on the field? Are you checking into the right plays out on the field? Check. Like, those are the things I'm looking for. Yes, of course I want to avoid interceptions, and I don't want to throw the ball into tight windows where there's 3 guys in there. All those things, that will come with time. But to me, there's levels to this, and today's the first level. And let's just get off on a good foot. No pre-snap infractions. Let's not have chaos before the ball's even hiked. And then post-hike, stay in there with some moxie, make the right decisions, and make sure that the team is into the right place. Like, I'm really excited for the kid today. I know he's got the raw athleticism. I know once he gets comfortable and he starts humming, he's going to start hitting guys. And having Elijah Mitchell available today, I think is going to be massive. It gives them some optionality. You can go Sermon in the gun run. You can go Elijah Mitchell and Juszczyk and line them up in the eye. With no George Kittle today, you have to believe that Kyle Juszczyk is going to be the primary blocker on a lot of different formations, be it pistol, offset eye, even in some gun run situations. So to me, today is all about that offensive line and that running back situation. Can these guys get enough going so that Trey doesn't have to carry the day in his first ever start?
How much do you put on this? How much do you put on Kyle Shanahan? Because look, as much as I want the running game to be effective and as much as I want the young man to be out of harm's way, part of the reason why we want to see Trey Lance and part of the reason why we wanted Trey Lance to start in week number 1 was because of his ability to throw the football down the football field, to stretch the field, to use every blade of grass on the football field. It just seems like with Jimmy Garoppolo, the offense is congested. Everything's a slant, a drag. Everything's over the middle of the field, and everything's within a 15-yard box. You don't see him stretch the field. Now, he's tried to do it, and it hasn't looked pretty. It really hasn't looked pretty from Jimmy Garoppolo. Part of the reason why we want to see Trey Lance is we want him to extend the field and try to make big plays in the passing game. I'm looking for Kyle Shanahan to dial some of that up, some play-action passes, some deep shots here, reminiscent of RG3 in his first start with Washington under Mike and Kyle Shanahan. Early on in that game in the Superdome on the road, nobody picked the Redskins to win that football game against the Saints. What happens? They stretch the football field with RG3, and you put doubt in Arizona's mind defensively saying, oh boy, we can't just guard everybody within 10 yards. We got to look over our shoulders here. This guy will let the ball fly.
Well, Bonta, as much as we all want to see him make all the throws, right? You want to make all the throws all over the field. Discernment. pick and choose your spots, young man. You know, like, I know you want to come out, you want to rat-a-tat-tat and stretch the field. Stay on schedule, make the right decisions. That's the key for today. And when the big play presents itself, hell yeah, let it rip. No doubt about it. Let it rip. But like, for me, as much as I want to see him sprint like Usain Bolt, can we just crawl like a baby today? Like, that's where I'm at. And maybe, look, maybe I'm underselling so that he can over-deliver for me, because that's where we're at.
I think that's exactly what you're doing. Because honestly,
I'm very worried about Chandler Jones. This is a guy who dominated Joe Staley the last couple times that these teams have played. Now, Staley's not there. He had a great game again last year against them. This is a guy who kind of owns the 49er tackles. I need the kid to stay upright today. McGlinchey and Trent Williams have to have massive games today, because if you're going to go out on the edges and do this read option, you've got to be able to set those edges. And so, to me, stopping Chandler Jones is priority number one.
Well, think about this. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in that opening game against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. It was like, wow, 5 sacks in the game. This is incredible. But he hasn't had a sack since. Hasn't had a sack since that game. You look at Arizona overall, they have 9 sacks as a team. 9 sacks. Marcus Golden also was talking that talk this week saying, hey, look, Trey Lance ain't no Kyler Murray. Well, I don't think the 49ers want him to be a Kyler Murray. So this is where Trent Williams gets paid the big bucks, all right? This is why you pay Trent Williams, and this is why Mike McGlinchey, who's fighting for a contract, needs to step his game up today against J.J. Watt and Marcus Golden and Isaiah Simmons, who Arizona will blitz at times. Look, I hear you, Shasky. You want to pick and choose your spots here, but let's be honest. The 49ers offense has been boring, all right? Part of this whole ordeal, you want to win football games. It's a bottom line business, wins or losses. But if you're not going to be competitive, or if you're going to be playing a rookie quarterback, can you be exciting? Can you be entertaining? And that's part of the reason why, let's be honest, we want to see number 5. We saw him in that first preseason game against Kansas City on his first ever play. And the way Levi Stadium gave him a standing ovation, and he rolls out, scampers, throws a dime to Brandon Ayuk, who drops it. We're like, oh, wow, that was impressive. Then the next possession, first play, he throws it across the field to Trent Sherfield. You're like, whoa, this is what we wanted the whole time. We haven't seen this a lot over the last 20 years outside of Colin Kaepernick. We haven't seen a guy really stretch the football field like Colin Kaepernick. Alex Smith didn't do it. Jimmy Garoppolo picking shows and really didn't do it. It was basically a bunch of paper cuts backed by a strong running game. Part of the reason we want to see Trey is we want to see some of that explosives. We want to see some explosion, because you need chunk plays in today's NFL. Going 15 plays, 17 plays over and over and over again. You don't have a lot of success doing that. You open yourself up to maybe turning the ball over, having a bad snap, having a bad handoff here. So I want to see some of these explosives. Let it rip today.
Well, look, don't you also believe by nature the kid's frenetic play is going to create a lot of excitement?
Yes.
Like, whether good or bad. Like, I feel like the way he plays the position is very exciting, and I'm ready to see it. And I also think his ability to be the best athlete on the field, and I know playing quarterback and being the best athlete are 2 totally different things. Tom Brady is not the best athlete on the field. He's the greatest quarterback who ever lived. But I think part of what made Kyler Murray so functional early on in his career, he was one of the best athletes on that field. And when I watched the end of that second half against Seattle, our young man, Trey Lance, realized, oh, I'm the best athlete out here. I just need to be me. And I hope that he starts the game with the same level of confidence, because Bonta, he has talent. I mean, there's no way around it. He's got talent. Now, a lot of players have stepped into this league with massive amounts of talent and haven't been able to put it all together. And that's where hit all the checklists. Let me see you line everybody up. Let's get the play off. Make sure it's the right play. When you're in the pocket, make the right decisions. Don't throw into traffic. Don't hang your receivers out to dry. And go out there and make plays. Like, that's bottom line. Be exciting today, young man. That's all we want.
All right, 888-957-9570. 49er fans, if you're out there, give us a shout out and let us know what you expect from Trey Lance today. What do you expect from Trey Lance as he makes his first ever NFL start? Could it be the dawn of a new era in San Francisco with Trey Lance as the starting quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo's out today with the calf strain. He tried to give it a go. Niners are on the bye week. It feels like this is ripe. Trey Lance can take this job with a solid performance today. 888-957-9570. If you're on the text line, that's the hotline as well. We'll read some of your texts. What should the realistic expectations be for Trey Lance as he makes his first start against a 4-0 Arizona Cardinals? More coming up here on Overtime. Plus, we'll replay the Jimmy Ward interview with DRK. That was earlier this week. Really fantastic stuff. We'll replay that at 1 o'clock as we get you set for Niners and Cardinals in the desert right here on the Kickoff Show with Joe Shasky, the Butcher, and Bonta Hill.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only.
whatever he did this offseason in terms of dedication, or maybe it's just the good fortune of not getting hurt, he is reaping all the rewards right now. Playmaker downfield, playmaker underneath, running through people, running by people, unbelievable hands. He has been everything you want in a second-round wide receiver and then some. And Bonta, if he keeps this up, he's looking at an all-pro season, and the league is littered with superstar wide receivers, and yet he stands above all of them when it comes to the statistics. But he's been spectacular. Like, he has been spectacular. And this is the differentiation for me, B, real quick. The jet sweeps and all the run stuff, the short stuff, awesome.
Yep.
It's the playing vertical down the field that makes the big difference this year as opposed to years past. And that's why I think this is where we're finally seeing the man blossom as a full dynamic wide receiver.
There's no doubt about that. Let's go out to the lines here on the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game with Joe Shasky, the Butcher, and Bonta Hill. We got Sterling back in the studio alongside Evan Giddings doing a great job back there at the 95.7 The Game studios. Let's go to the lines. Ben in Berkeley. Ben, what's happening? What's on your mind here on the Kickoff Show?
Well, a couple of things. Mostly, the Niners going up against the Cardinals. I mean, you got this new hotshot coach, Cliff Kingman. You got the Steve Klein, the GM. You got to give them credit, dude. They drafted Josh Rosen. It didn't work out. They take another chance on Kyler Murray. Boom. Now they're 4-0. The Niners are down. They decided to give all that money to Kittle. A lot of people were not agreeing with giving all that money to Kittle. There's some people, there's a lot of fans that love him to death. There's also a lot of fans that are annoyed with him. So, that's that, and now Kittle's not going to play. I think it's going to be a rough day for Trey Lance today going up because they're not going to be able to outscore the Cardinals. So, I mean, you're putting him in a basically no-win situation. Plus, they got a pretty darn good defense, so now what are you going to do? My only concern is that kid doesn't get drilled like a Sean Taylor coming out of, some of the football heavens or whatever, and just in this, because that kid can't take a hit. No one knows if he can take a hit from these big old NFL linebackers. It's one thing to run around in college, and just like they say, it's one thing to hit a wide receiver when he's open by 10 yards. Is he going to be able to hit this guy by 1 yard?
Ben, I'm going to step in, and it's a really good call, and I appreciate it. The kid's taken some licks already this year, and he jumps right up. Now, I don't want him taking those kinds of licks, but he did it in the second half last week. He did it in all the preseason games. People can dilute it and say it was against practice squatters, and they're not wrong, but there's also a lot of backups and guys who are starting now because of injuries that he's gone through. And look, anybody can get hurt on any play. This kid is built like a tank, all right? And he's going to stand in that pocket and he's going to deliver the ball down the field. That's how you become a great quarterback. Even Kyler Murray, as slight as he is, he takes shots too. Like, that's what happens in the NFL. You're going to get hits. I would love to see this kid get protected as best as possible, but he's got to play football. He's got to go out there and just play loose. And when you're 21 years old, Bonta, you do feel like you're fearless. So that's the one area I get a little worried. You're running around, you think you can make a play when you can't, and then you lose the ball. Forget the injury, then you lose the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. I honestly, going into the bye week, just let it rip. You've lost 2 straight games. You're down corners. You're down George Kittle. You don't have Raheem Mostert. You're playing an undefeated Arizona Cardinals team down in the desert that just came off, one of the most impressive victories of the season in all the NFL, going to L.A. and beating up on the Rams at SoFi Stadium. That game wasn't close. Let it rip. Let it rip. What do you got to lose, man?
Bonta, do you think there's any notion of a letdown for Arizona? You're looking at the Niners and you're saying, backup quarterback, they're 2-2. Yeah. We just had a big win against a divisional opponent last week. I know how big this game is for the Cardinals in the standings, but is there any scenario where they might let down? I mean, they're a great team. I'm not trying to to say that they're not.
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes, Shasky, but it's a divisional game. And they don't like the 49ers.
Yeah.
And the 49ers don't like them. And these two teams have been in battles. And let's be honest, Fred Warner Jr., this defense under Robert Saleh, have had their way against Kyler Murray. They've hit him hard. He's trouble. Now, last year, week 1 opener at Levi Stadium, Kyler Murray took over the football game. They were on the field all day long. Remember the snaps that they had last year in that opener?
Hey, Bosa had a great game that game.
Yeah, no doubt. Last year without Bosa in the desert, The Niners had their way against Kyler Murray. I remember, not to look at fantasy football, but I had Kyler Murray starting in that football game, and the Niners stymied him. They shut down DeAndre Hopkins. They had a really good game plan against that Cardinals team.
Kinlaw had a really good game?
Kinlaw had a good game. Kerry Hyder, who's now in Seattle, had a good
Armstead,
game.
I thought played well in that game, if I remember correctly.
No doubt. Let's go to Mitch in New Jersey real quick. Mitch in New Jersey. Then we'll get to Mo in West Oakland and Danker. What's up, Mitch? What's happening?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for taking my call. I just hope the defensive line can play great, especially Bonta.
Yeah.
Playing like his brother. But what happens if Trey has a good game? I mean, you got to say Jordan Love is envious, and maybe Jim's not allowed back into the lineup. Anyway, thanks for the game. Enjoy it.
Thanks for the call. I'll deal with the good game and what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo. I know there was a report earlier this morning saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get the job back no matter what. And look, let's just play one game at a time here. One snap at a time for Trey. Let's see where this goes. I never say never. Anything can happen. People forget Drew Bledsoe was much more established in the league, and Tom Brady came out of nowhere. All right, things can happen, and Trey Lance could look like Zach Wilson did and throw 4 interceptions and 5 passes. That's the way the league is. Who knows what the outcomes will be?
Yeah, if Trey Lance lights it up today, I would I will guarantee. Screw it. I guarantee if Trey Lance looks spectacular today against that Arizona team, Jimmy Garoppolo's not getting his job back. Screw it. Whatever the report says, you'd rip it up and throw it away. Because if Trey Lance lights up Arizona, and that's a big if, there's no going back to Jimmy Garoppolo. It is what it is. Let's go to Mo in West Oakland. Mo in West Oakland, you're on the kickoff show here on 95.7 The Game. What's happening?
My guys, good morning or good afternoon. I'm in a bad area. I hope the call goes through. Let me let you know, first off, T-Mobile ain't S. But look, fellas, I tried to come up with an analogy as best as I could. All the things you guys said this morning was great, on point, bringing up the past NFL games, past 49er games. So I look at it as an artifact being dug up. All those things have been dug up before. But look at this. When you dig up an artifact, you don't really know the details of that artifact, Shasky, until you take that little brush and start twisting it around and knocking off the little dust. I think this is the game where that happens with the 49ers. I think the Cardinals, being such a good team, it being such a challenge for the 49ers, Trey Lance coming out first game against a big game, this is where you see the details in the flaws of the 49ers, I believe, especially with your boy Kittle's out. The DBs ain't looking too good. I just took that analogy. I hope it worked. You guys have a great day, man. Appreciate y'all all the time. Peace.
I love it. I'm so excited for Trey Lance today. I know I'm kind of suppressing my excitement level, Bonta, to be totally honest, but this is what we've all wanted.
Yeah, why are you doing that? Let me ask you, why are you doing that?
Because I think this is a really tough spot for the kid, and I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna showcase himself. I think there's gonna be a lot of good. There's gonna be a lot of probably bad and ugly that he's gonna want back. It's a tough matchup. I mean, you're going up against a team that is a Super Bowl contender in Arizona.
No doubt.
You're going up against basically the MVP frontrunner. If we were just line them all up right now, I feel like Kyler is the front runner for the MVP. I think that's fair to say. And Cliff Kingsbury looks like one of the best coaches in the league. You got to give him credit. Right. Now, things can change, and Shanahan has looked very good against some of the people in his division, like Cliff Kingsbury at times. So it'll be interesting to see the chess match. I think the kid's got a real big uphill climb because you got Brandon Ayuk, we don't know where he's at. George Kittle, we know, is not playing. You don't have Raheem Mostert, who can hit a home run on any possession. You got Elijah Mitchell, who's a rookie himself. And you got Sermon, who's a rookie himself. You got Brunskill. I don't love the matchup with their offensive line, the Niners, against the defense of the Cardinals. And I'm not sure where this defense is at right now for the 49ers. I could see them having a really strong game. I could see them having hands on hip all game, getting stymied, and just getting ran right out of the gym. So the way I look at this, I think this is a tough spot for the kid. So any good that can come out of this from him, to me, is a positive step forward. And we're always looking for the negative. I'm just excited to see some hope and some positive step forwards. That's why I'm kind of suppressing this.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mason Crosby just shake a field goal here, and I'm thinking to myself, where was that 2 weeks ago? It was a chip shot he shaked. What was that? Come on, man. What's going on with that? Look, it is a tough spot for Trey Lance. There's no doubt about it. But this is the NFL. There's really no easy spots when we think about it. People say, oh, well, Detroit is a soft landing spot. Yeah, it is, but it's still the NFL. Guys are professionals. This is a professional league. In case you didn't know, I'm stating the obvious here. Look, in the NFC West, he's going to have to play against these teams if he's going to be the Niners quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. This is who we got to see. It's going to be going against Kyler, all right? We'll see what the Rams do in the future because obviously Stafford's getting up there in age and Russell Wilson's future in Seattle is cloudy here. But look, there's no easy games in this division.
No.
You know what? In a way, I'd rather him see this type of team to see what this is elite football. This is how we go against elite teams. This is how fast it is when you're playing on an elite level against the Arizona Cardinals. We put the Arizona Cardinals up there with teams that, the Arizona Cardinals are going to compete with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to compete with some of the top dogs in the NFC. I'd rather see it now, say, okay, how much farther does he have to go to catch up to compete against teams like this? I actually think this is a blessing in disguise.
It's interesting that you phrase it that way because I was kind of thinking about that all week where I'm like, you go out there and you just look like you belong or at times you look like you're the best player on the field. I'm not saying the whole game, but just have moments like that. How much can you draw from that for the rest of the year, for the rest of your career? This could be a monumental momentum builder for his confidence and his psyche if he goes out there and he hangs.
Yep. I'm telling you, that could be good for not only Trey Lance, it could be great for Kyle Shanahan, who we haven't even brought up today. It would make the Niners in the future and the fan base kind of just take a deep breath and say, you know what? They got something here. They got the number 3 overall pick, right? Let's go to Dacre real quick in the city. Dacre in the city before we throw it to the Jimmy Ward interview here on 95.7 The Game on the Kickoff Show with Joe Shasky, the Butcher, and Bonta. Hey, Dacre, what's happening?
Gentlemen, let's go. I need that tower of power energy, Joe. I mean, this is the beginning. We're taking the training wheels off. The home run threat era is here. This is our first taste of Shanny's cooking with his guys. And, Lance ran the similar system in college, and this isn't the first time at every level Lance has taken the starting quarterback position. And the thing that I love the most was that touchdown last week. We're hearing that Lance didn't even see Debo, but he knew he was there, and he knew the defense left him open. And the fact that he has that trust and showed Shanny, I can't wait till the training wheels are officially off. The governor is off the engine. And, gentlemen, this is the beginning. This is Chicago Bears, Kaepernick, Part 2. It's happening. We can't be scared. Arizona wants us to be scared. Let's do this. Let's go, gentlemen. Have a great one.
I like the excitement. Look, I first career start for Trey Lance, number 3 overall pick. Niners moved 3 first-round picks to move up from 12 to 3. There was a lot of talk about Mac Jones, but they settled on Trey Lance. We've been waiting for Trey Lance since we saw him at training camp. We saw him one of the first days of training camp, and he lit it up. And then we saw him against the Kansas City Chiefs, and early on, he lit it up. We saw the 2-minute drill against the Chargers, where he ran it like a seasoned veteran. That's the other thing. The 2-minute drills of the 49ers this season has just been god-awful. Now, I know Philadelphia, they had the big play with Deebo Samuel right before halftime, the 40-yard play where Deebo lined up on the wrong side. But up until that point, it was nonchalant. Let's get up to the line. Let's bleed a lot of clock. We saw the 2-minute drill last week against Seattle. It looked like an offense that really didn't want to go out and put pressure on the defense. They were saying, you know what? We're content with going into halftime tied at 7. The one thing about Trey Lance, he already runs a better 2-minute drill than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm confident in saying that. So, you know what? I'm kind of with Denker here. The training wheels is off. This is big boy football. Let's go.
I'm just going to paint a scenario here. Now, it's very likely he goes out there and looks really overwhelmed and they stink. That is a massive possibility. It's also a possibility that he goes out there and finds a way without his starting tight end, who's getting paid the most at the position in the entire NFL, without his starting running back in Raheem Mostert, into a hostile environment against the MVP and an undefeated team. And if he finds a way to pull off a victory, oh my goodness. You want to talk about endearing yourself to a fan base before you've even gotten off the runway? I mean, that jet will have so many people riding on it. It will be like could you imagine, Bonta? He wins his first start against Kyler Murray in Arizona. No George Kittle, no Raheem Mostert. A patchwork secondary right now because they got nothing going on there. And, I mean, I'd throw my hands up. I would literally throw my hands up. I think I'm not allowing myself to dream about that possibility, but that is a possibility, B.
Hey, look, man, I'm thinking positive here. And look, if he gets befuddled against this defense that's blitzing him, hey, you know what? It's his first ever start. But one thing I keep hearing about the kid, he processes information quickly. He's a film room junkie. We knew about the iPad report where he had the most hours logged in, and I don't think he was just logging in just to get extra credit. That's not the type of dude he is. You look at his podium game and the way he explains himself when he gets questions at the podium. This guy has been training for this his entire life, all right? He gets to North Dakota State. What happens? He just wins. He goes through a season, and I don't care if it's D3, NAIA, JUCO. When you go a season without throwing one interception, that to me is impressive. That is impressive when you take care of the football here. So Trey Lance has taken care of the football. Look, man, I'm dreaming about all the possibilities. I'm dreaming about a bomb to Brandon Ayuk. I'm dreaming about a bomb to Trent Sherfield. I'm dreaming that he may throw 3 interceptions and we come in on Monday morning saying, damn, the kid wasn't ready. Maybe you got to play Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit longer here. But if this kid balls out today against Arizona, think about my way of thinking towards Kyle Shanahan. All of a sudden, Kyle Shanahan is going to get fans to come back over and say, oh, well, Shanahan just needed his guy. He just needed his guy. That would be a big relief for Kyle Shanahan because we haven't talked about him because all the excuses have been made. He can't run his playbook with Jimmy Garoppolo. He can't open it up with Jimmy Garoppolo. He can't open up the entire playbook. He's limited. He's this, he's that. We've given him every excuse in the book, Kyle Shanahan, that is. If Trey Lance balls out today, well, guess what? Shanahan does look like a god. He does look like the Dun Dada out here in San Francisco.
How many passes for the kid today? I think he drops back at least 35 times today.
I think he drops back 25 times, no doubt. Shanahan does want to run the football 30 times, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to drop him back a lot more than people want to give credit. I think they're going to unleash him. I got a feeling the first 15 plays are going to tell us everything we need to know about what Kyle Shanahan thinks of Trey Lance.
Yep, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. Look, we're going to play the Jimmy Ward interview on the other side here on the Kickoff Show. Really good stuff here. The Kickoff Show will continue. Jimmy Ward, he was with DRK earlier this week. We're going to replay that, and then we're going to see you immediately after the football game. Enjoy Cardinals and Niners here on 95.7 The Game.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprise.